فلنولينك قبلة ترضاها.
There's a verse in poetry. It says, it's from Tayyibatul Nashr. Tayyibatul Nashr is the 1,000-line poem. It's not exactly 1,000 lines, but it's a poem on the 10 qira'at of Qur'an. And one of the verses is, وَلْيَحْرِسِ الْسَعِيدُ فِي تَحْصِيلِهِ وَلَا يَمَلُّ قَطُّ فِي تَرْتِيلِهِ. And it's a beautiful line. I really enjoy that line. It says, وَلْيَحْرِسْ حَرِيصٌ عَلَيْهِ. Be greedy, be energized, be motivated for the Sa'id. As-Sa'id is the fortunate one, the one who's been blessed to have it in him to want to learn the Qur'an. And Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Man yuridillahu bihi al-khair, yufaqqihhu fi din." Whoever Allah wants good for him, He gives him the profound understanding of the book, of the deen. Okay? And that's in the Qur'an. So anyone who has a desire to read the Qur'an, فَهُوَ السَّعِيدُ. He's a fortunate person. فَلْيَحْرِسِ السَّعِيدُ فِي تَحْصِيلِهِ. So let the one, the fortunate one, rush to and be motivated towards getting the Qur'an. وَلَا يَمَلَّ وَلَا يَمَلُّ قَطُّ فِي تَرْتِيلِهِ. And don't let him ever get bored from reciting it. Okay? This is what we're told to do. The Ramadan is the month of Qur'an. Okay? And we're so used to, and this is one of the tricks of shaitan. He doesn't tell you go to haram, right? Not outright. But he tells you there's an answer to your worldly problem online. Just gotta scroll, right? Just look it up, Google it, or just go through whatever the apps are that you can find an answer to your problem. That's what everybody's looking for, right? Looking for something unique to tell me, something to touch me, something impacting that I can benefit from, and now I can be a better person, a smarter person, or a slicker person. The Qur'an has all of that. And then some. وَلَا يَمَلُّ. No one gets bored from reading the Qur'an. The more you read and understand the Qur'an. I think the problem is that we're reading and not really understanding it. We, the scholars, haven't done our job in presenting it well so that you can get the benefit. But if you were able to understand the language of the Qur'an, it's a story. When you know, وَإِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفْ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشْرَ كَوْكَبًا وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. It's a play. You can hear it. Right? When the brothers were standing together, قَالُوا اقتلوا يوسف أو اطرحوه أرضا يخلو لكم وجه أبيكم وتكونوا من بعده قوما صالحين. If we listen to it now, we're interested in hearing more about this story. But because we've set up a wall between us and the Qur'an, and that's the lack of studying Arabic. We've put this thing in our head that Arabic is this difficult language that we can't, but it's the easiest language in the world to understand. It's the simplest and the soulfulest language in the world. If we just opened our hearts to it, it would enter. It would change our life. If there was one thing that you can do, it would be to learn Arabic. You can do it in 6 months. It's not difficult at all. And we make it easier and easier with all the resources that we have. But usually that's the problem. People have too many resources. And so with all of these resources, they spend more time gathering the resources than they're using one or two that they can get what they want to get. Okay? So what we want to do this year, inshallah, let's be determined to read the Qur'an, not just recite it like a parrot, but to read the Qur'an with a desire to understand what Allah is telling us. What does Allah want me to do? In every ayah, there's one of three things. There's a hukum, a rule, a law that's being laid down. There's tawheed in that ayah to show you how Allah dealt with His creation, right? In a good way, and how He punished them. And there's a story. 50% of the Qur'an, half the Qur'an is stories. And stories are so good because you can remember the gist of the story in this way. In every ayah. So when you read each ayah, Now say, what did I see? Where's the story? Where's the rule of Tawheed? Where's the rule, the hukum and the Sharia? What's the story here? And that way you can have an answer key. Because most of those three things you can pick out yourself. Everybody says, well, what about Tawheed? Tawheed first, Aqidah first. Yes, the book of Aqidah is the Qur'an. Is there any page in the Qur'an where there's not a name of Allah? Is there any page of the Qur'an where Allah is not telling you how He dealt with the people of the past and how He's going to deal with the people in the future? When He's talking about Jannah, wa nar, and the unseen? Well, how else and where else do you need to go? Who else do you need to hear it from? Except the Qur'an. So our creativity comes in taking the time to understand that and apply it in my life. But we have too many fingers pointing at others. We hear the khutbah, we hear the tafsir, and then we say to our brother, you see what he said about you? He's talking about you, you know that, right? We don't even think about, he's talking about me. Instead of thinking about who else is talking about, let's also make it the rule. We're only going to think about how it reflects on me this year when we read the Qur'an.
فلنولينك قبلة ترضاها